Yeah, so guys, welcome back to part two of the accident story. Yeah, we had to take a quick break. He was breaking down. He
This
was
is
getting emotional and
like we said, this is something that actually I just hate to talk about. I know it's good to share about, to share such kind of things so that you can get them off your chest. But it's like you've seen, it's a story that it's something happened after another, not just layer stuff that happened in your life. I felt like I was stabbed twice. I lost my dad, who I was still mourning at the moment, and then here I almost lost my entire family. Barely 2 weeks after burying my own dad. So it's been a heavy story on my heart. But it's good to share maybe it out there so that someone might be learn something from here. We face challenges in life that sometimes you feel like you want to lose it. You feel like you're hitting the rock bottom, but the one above is always there for you. The wreckage of the vehicle, probably we'll see if we can share those parts because it was a mess. You wouldn't believe that people came out of there alive.
yeah.
But here we are actually. And at that moment, actually, when we were in Dallas, now I'm thinking here, I don't care how my wife is going to come out of this as long as she's alive. Because when I saw the damage that had been done to her body, I was like, please, 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 God, fight for her. Keep her here because I don't want to be left here alone with these kids. I don't want to lose this woman that, who has been a pillar here in my life. I want her to be there so that her kids can see her tomorrow. I want to be able to see her tomorrow. So even if she had to be, inclined into a wheelchair, I was ready to take that task. But I had not gave up on God either. So I was ready, like, let's see what the doctors are going to say. Mm-hmm. They scheduled, they talked about different things that they were going to do. And finally they decided to do one of the surgeries that was going to stabilize her first.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was that time, was it when we asked for prayers? I think it's when they were refusing, they were scared to do the surgery.
Yeah, they were not sure what was, what they really want to do because the pelvis is some, fragile part of your body and, it can affect different things, spinal is included. So they were really worried about so many things.
It was taking long, and then here we are. We are also worried about getting infected, getting the infection.
The infection and all that.
Yeah.
So we had reached out to our friends here back in the US. Yeah. We had informed them, and Stella, you are one of those people that we first reached out to and gave our story.
Yeah.
And you shared it widely with, friends and family. And that story actually spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
It spread in a way that we received a lot of prayers from different people around the world.
Yeah.
I want you to know how much we appreciate you for all that you did for us.
Yeah, and that at that time, that's when we were like, we need prayers. We can't do this by ourselves. The Bible says that there was a time, I think, when Moses went to fight this battle, and they were not winning. So he asked for prayers. He told the people to lift him up in prayers. So they had to hold his hand up so that, the hand does not drop down, to keep praying. So that's when we can relate to that, and we related to that. Actually, we asked for more prayers, and you guys prayed for us. Miracle happened, and they were able to do the surgery. The first surgery, before surgery, actually, so many setbacks. I think the devil just didn't want me to be alive, guys.
There were so many things that happened.
We fought.
But one of them that I want to address here that made me almost lose myself and, go crazy is on the day of surgery.
Yeah.
She, in Kenya, actually, things work different for those who might be in other countries. When you have a patient, undergoing surgery, they make you buy your own devices that are needed, and she needed some parts that, they needed to use. So we went to one of the surgical stores. got those equipments and we brought them to the store for sanitization, which they did and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So on the very day of surgery now, we're here. She had been taken in for surgery. Now it's a waiting game. I was there with my sister and my brother-in-law and some relatives who had come to visit. So right after they took her to surgery, I had stepped out to run to town to grab a few things.
And they were actually to do that surgery in the morning, but they kept on pushing it. Like, guys, it was just, I don't know.
Things kept happening, that they kept pushing it, but finally they took her in around 2:00. So that time I ran into, I drove to town to grab a few items because now at that time, like we were waiting. I came back maybe within like 20-25 minutes, and now we are sitting outside, waiting. My brother-in-law was sleeping inside. They came and they didn't see me outside, so they met my brother, in her room where she was admitted. They took him, and all of a sudden my brother-in-law comes and calls me. There is nothing that makes your heart race like crazy when you have a patient in the operating room, and then all of a sudden you're being called to the operating room.
Yeah.
At that moment I was like, what happened? I hope everything is okay. I'm running down there. We get there, they're like, they can't find the parts that we had brought.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean you can't find the parts? We bought these parts like almost a week ago. We got everything you needed.
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't find them? How is that even my problem? And guys, this is even now the worst part. That's not even now the problem. The part that now took me to the next level of craziness is when I learned that she had already been cut open.
Yeah, I was an anesthesia and it was wearing off.
She had been put under, cut wide open.
Yeah.
Now the devices are missing.
Like, how do you start surgery without no plates?
The plates that were supposed to be used are nowhere to be seen. The patient is here in the operating table. So you can see why I was going crazy. I actually literally brought the whole place to a standstill. I was screaming in the hallways. I wanted to choke someone if I had an opportunity. But that's when the OR doctor came out, the operating doctor. He came out and he knew actually. I'm glad he did not even talk to me because I felt like I was gonna act really in a very bad way. But he knew because we had had interactions in here and he understood how I was reacting. And not that I was, a bad guy or anything, but I'm that family member, trust me, who is there to make sure my patient is okay at every cost. So at that moment, I was like, no, this is not acceptable. Such a big hospital like this, you cannot be doing things like this. This is not okay. How now? These plates are things that you were supposed to check before you even started anything. But, it was a miscommunication between his team and the doctor. So he went right out, went to the sanitization place, and actually that's when they realized where the issue happened, where the problem came from. And actually it's not an excuse. I want to say this, for anyone who's, for any doctors who do this, please don't do that.
Yeah.
So what had happened is, there was another patient who had surgery like 2 days prior to the day she was supposed to have surgery, who needed the same plates that they were going to use on her.
Yeah.
But because they were already there, so they decided to use them. They reordered them from the store. But the problem is when these plates got here, they were labeled under that patient's name. They were never switched to her name. They were there, not that they were missing. They were right there, but they were under a different name. So when they were looking for Gladys, they couldn't find them. But then, the doctor, I think they remembered quick enough, like, hey, we did another surgery a couple of days ago. This patient had already been operated on. We had switched the plates. They grabbed them, they ran back, and at that moment, I'd already said, even if I'm going really wild here, I also wish that I don't want to make the situation worse than it is, because I want my wife to be able to come out of that place, safe and sound. And I even told the doctor, I said, I don't want to discuss anything right now. All I just want to say is I wish you the best in there. Please bring my wife in one piece. Which actually, he did a wonderful job, Dr. Nyabera. He did a wonderful job. Went in, took care of my wife, and a couple hours later, she was out, and it was a success. So after that, we had to wait a little bit because actually she needed another surgery. But now this is where it was tricky.
Okay, so they did, what Dr. Nyabera did was actually to stabilize me. He was supposed to do both anterior and posterior, but he only did one part, the anterior part of this side, of the left side. So the right side did not do it, at the back he did nothing. So after surgery I was like, what happened? Why am I in so much pain? And the other doctor who was helping him, he goes like, oh, we only did the anterior side part of the leg, we did not do the other part. And it was like, Dr. Nyabera will explain it to you. So I was well back. And then the following day, that's when Dr. Nyabera came, and Dr. Nyabera was like, I stabilized you. You guys will go back to the US. They are more equipped. They'll do the rest of the surgery.
Actually, we want to thank him for that.
Yeah.
Because he knew
it was
the complications that were involved in that second surgery. And that's why he opted, like, the one we did will be enough to stabilize you to be able to travel back to the US, so that you can be able to get more and of a better quality surgery there, because they are well equipped with everything that we might not have here. So and actually even when we got here, we'll talk about the journey here. Even the doctors here, actually, they said we're glad they did not do this, because this is how they could have ended up doing this instead of this or that. So she was stabilized. We were there for another almost a month.
Yeah, we stayed there for the whole of July.
The whole of July, because we came to travel at the end of July. Kuzo Teresa, wherever you are, again, let me mention your name here. You were my mother and the father at the same time. You took us in, you made sure we are well fed, we are well taken care of, we had a place to shower and all that. The nurses, Akina Jackie, please receive our gratitude and your team. We cannot appreciate you enough for everything that you did. I know the first week or two, it was a rocky start. We know how the Kenyan health system works sometimes, but we came to rhyme and understand each other, and we became good friends that we actually connect up to this day. So after that, that's when we had to plan now on how to travel back to the US, because she could not just ride into the airport and just get in a flight like any other person, because she couldn't walk.
Yeah, I was in a wheelchair. I came back in a wheelchair. We went
the only thing she could do was
walking. I went home walking, and I came back in a wheelchair. It's sad, guys. It was sad.
It was a sad moment.
Yeah.
The whole family was worried, but the best part about it is the support we received from friends, family, financially, prayer-wise, and everything. We really, really appreciate you guys. We are going to make another, like now the last part actually will come here, which we will be able to talk about. Hang in for the last part. Let us share what our journey was like after that and how it changed our lives, because the reset pattern had been hit. So thank you guys for tuning in. Stay there for the next part.
For the last part.